Have you ever wondered if it will rain tomorrow, or if your favorite team will win their next game? That's probability in action. Probability is simply the chance of something happening. It's like a secret code that helps us understand uncertain events. Isn't that cool? Probability is everywhere in our daily lives. From weather forecasts to games of chance, understanding probability can make us feel like super sleuths. So, are you ready to become a probability pro? Let's dive in. Before we become probability masters, we need to learn some basic vocabulary. Don't worry, it's super easy. An event is just something that happens, like flipping a coin or rolling a die. An outcome is the result of that event. For example, when you flip a coin, the event is the flip itself. The outcome could be either heads or tails. See, it's not so complicated after all. Now that we've got the lingo down, let's explore probability in action. Imagine you have a big, bright-colored die in your hand. How many sides does it have? That's right, 6. Now, what are the chances of rolling a 4? Let's think about it. There are 6 possible outcomes when we roll the die, right? But only one of those outcomes is a 4. So, the probability of rolling a 4 is 1 out of 6. We can write that as a fraction 1/6. Easy peasy. Let's play a card game. Imagine you're sitting at a table with a deck of cards in front of you. The excitement is palpable as you prepare to dive into the world of probability and chance. Imagine you have a deck of cards all shuffled and ready to go. The cards are mixed up, creating endless possibilities for what you might draw next. How many cards are in a standard deck? Yes, 52. This number is crucial because it sets the stage for all the probabilities we will explore. Now close your eyes and pick a card. Feel the anticipation as you reach into the deck, not knowing what you'll get. What's the probability of drawing a heart? This is where the fun begins. Probability helps us predict the likelihood of drawing a specific card. Well, there are 4 suits in a deck: hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. Each suit is unique and equally represented in the deck, and each suit has 13 cards. This means there are 13 hearts, 13 diamonds, 13 clubs, and 13 spades. So, the probability of drawing a heart is 13 out of 52, or 13/52. This fraction can also be simplified to 1/4 or 25%. That's a pretty good chance. 1 in 4 times you should expect to draw a heart. This is a great example of how probability works in everyday situations. Are you feeling like a card shark yet? Understanding these probabilities can give you an edge in card games and make you feel more confident in your decisions. So next time you play, remember the odds and play smart. Section 5. Theoretical versus experimental probability. What's the difference? Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of probability, where we'll explore the differences between theoretical and experimental probability. These concepts might sound complex, but they're actually quite straightforward once you get the hang of them. There are actually different types of probability, but don't worry, they're all pretty straightforward. Probability is essentially the measure of how likely an event is to occur. It helps us make predictions and informed decisions in various aspects of life, from simple games to complex scientific research. Theoretical probability is what we expect to happen based on math. It's calculated by dividing the number of favorable outcomes by the total number of possible outcomes. For example, if we have a fair 6-sided die, the theoretical probability of rolling a 3 is 1 out of 6, because there is 1, 3, and 6 possible outcomes. Like with our die, we know there's a 1 in 6 chance of rolling any specific number. This is because each side of the die is equally likely to land face up. Theoretical probability gives us a way to predict outcomes in an ideal world where everything is perfectly balanced. Experimental probability, on the other hand, is what we observe in real-life experiments. It involves actually performing the experiment and recording the outcomes. This type of probability is based on actual data and can sometimes differ from theoretical probability due to various factors like human error or environmental conditions. If we flip a coin 100 times, we might not get exactly 50 heads and 50 tails, but it should be close. This is because in real life there are many variables that can affect the outcome, such as the way the coin is flipped or slight imperfections in the coin itself. Experimental probability is all about trying things out. It's about gathering data and seeing how closely it matches our theoretical predictions. By conducting experiments and recording the results, we can gain a better understanding of how probability works in the real world. This hands-on approach helps us see the practical applications of probability and how it can be used to solve real-world problems. So, to sum it up, theoretical probability is based on mathematical predictions, while experimental probability is based on actual experiments and observations. Both types of probability are important and useful in different contexts. Understanding the difference between them can help you make more accurate predictions and better understand the world around you. Whether you're rolling dice, flipping coins, or conducting scientific research, probability is a powerful tool that can help you make sense of uncertainty and make more informed decisions. So go ahead, try out some experiments of your own and see how theoretical and experimental probability play out in your everyday life. Section 6. Subjective probability. Using your best guess. Sometimes we use subjective probability, which is based on our personal judgment or experience. For example, if you see a lot of clouds in the sky, you might say there's a high probability of rain, but this is just your best guess, right? There's no mathematical formula for it. Subjective probability is all about using our intuition and what we know to make predictions. Section 7. Calculating probability. Easy as pie. Calculating probability is a piece of cake. To find the probability of an event, we simply divide the number of favorable outcomes by the total number of possible outcomes. Remember our die example? There's one favorable outcome, rolling a 4, and 6 total possible outcomes. So the probability is 1/6, see? You're already a probability whiz. Section 8. Practice makes perfect. Let's solve some problems. Today, we're diving into the world of probability, a fascinating branch of mathematics that helps us predict the likelihood of different outcomes. Whether you're a beginner or just looking to brush up on your skills, this section is designed to challenge and engage you. So grab your thinking cap, and let's get started. Ready to test your probability prowess? We'll start with some basic problems and gradually increase the difficulty. Don't worry if you find some questions tricky. The key is to practice and understand the concepts. Remember, every problem you solve brings you one step closer to mastering probability. Let's try some practice problems. These problems are designed to help you apply the concepts you've learned and see how well you can predict outcomes. Pay close attention to the details and take your time to think through each question. 1. You have a bag of 10 marbles, 5 red, 3 blue, and 2 green. Imagine reaching into the bag without looking and picking one marble at random. What's the probability of picking a blue marble? To solve this, you need to consider the total number of marbles and the number of blue marbles. Probability is all about comparing the favorable outcomes to the total possible outcomes. 2. You spin a spinner with 8 equal sections, 2 red, 2 blue, 2 green, and 2 yellow. Each section is equally likely to be landed on, making this a fair spinner. What's the probability of landing on green? Think about how many green sections there are compared to the total number of sections. This will help you determine the likelihood of the spinner landing on green. Think you got the answers? Take a moment to review your calculations. It's important to double-check your work to ensure accuracy. Probability can sometimes be tricky, but with careful thought you can solve these problems. For the marble problem, it's 3/10. This means that out of 10 possible outcomes, 3 of them are favorable for picking a blue marble. Great job if you got it right. And for the spinner, it's 2/8, which can be simplified to 1/4. This means that out of 8 possible outcomes, 2 of them are favorable for landing on green. Simplifying fractions is a useful skill in probability. Awesome job. Keep practicing, and you'll continue to improve. Remember, practice makes perfect. Section 9. Probability power. You've got this. Congratulations, probability superstar. You've learned all about the fascinating world of probability. You now know about events, outcomes, and different types of probability. Remember, probability is all about understanding the chances of something happening. Keep practicing and soon you'll be a probability pro, making predictions left and right. So go out there and embrace the uncertainty. You've got this.